their job, and when he left Yamashiro, he became the CEO of a restaurant group, and I was the first person he hired.
No shit, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's how. But Billy and I knew each other at Peabody's, and when I was a kid, like a baby.
Right.
I was throwing pizzas at what is now the Box.
At
Chicho's in like the year 2000.
Right.
And he was already like the man, and he's like 2 years older than me. He's like 21.
That's unreal.
Like about to open up his own spots, and I'm like. Yeah. I can't wait to get this $140 from the pizza room so I can black out at Harper and Larry's later. This guy's like signing a deed on like a Lamborghini, and I'm like, all right. So I mean,
that's nuts.
Yeah.
Shout out Harpoon Larry's. Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
I mean, they have good rum runners.
I did my stint there for...
Yeah, I remember that.
for like a month and a half.
God, that was terrible.
Yeah.
You were there too?
It's a bartender purgatory.
Damn! Yeah. You go there before you get your real estate license.
Yeah.
How do you drop this mic?
No, but really, Harpoon Larry's, you guys are great. Great rum runners.
I do. I like the place. It's got like that Virginia Beach panache, So it's very cool.
It's very heavy in the Virginia Beach.
Yeah. I mean, dude,
I do.
So when you're gone, like Pat knows, Pat left for a long time, 8 years. Yeah.
It was like 13 actually.
No, it was like 8.
03 to 2012-ish. Yeah. 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
you're way
split
off.
the difference.
Right.
Yeah,
So like that, like to us to us those years go by really fast.
Yeah, yeah.
When you don't have your family and friends around, like I haven't been back in Virginia Beach since Christmas.
Right.
Like it feels like I haven't been back in an eternity. Mm-hmm. And last night I had this girl like, you come back all the time. And it feels to me like I haven't been back in 5 years.
Right.
But for everybody here, it like just goes by because you go around your daily, routine.
Yeah. That's like some philosophical like relativity thing. You know what I mean? You being away, it's seems it's much longer because we're just moving so fast in our own space.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like we don't even recognize.
Well,
it.
like that's one of the reasons why I sold Venue and why I did what I did. I went on the trip that I was telling you about earlier.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the reason why is because I just like I think it was 8 years at Venue went by like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you remember bits and moments from it, but it's like all like this blur that happened. And I was like, I need to do something to like slow my life down kind of.
Yeah.
Because, the older you get, the faster time goes by.
100%. Yeah.
So I was like, what can I do to like try to live more in the moment and not do the day-to-day, everyday grind?
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm going to move away.
Yeah.
And go somewhere that I kind of fell in love with and it's true. Like
it's
when you're
challenging,
here,
dude. It's a whole it's a whole process. I mean, I remember I didn't come back here to Virginia Beach for 5 years in a row.
Right.
And that was, but you're right though. People be like, "Oh man, I feel like I just saw you." I'm like what? That was like 5 years ago. It's like I don't know. I've been to 3 continents since then. Like, it's really odd, but it's really good to challenge yourself like that. And Trey and I lived together for a good 3 years, and
maybe longer.
Maybe
we're life partners,
right? And then when Trey, I remember because at that point I'd already been gone for 12 years or whatever, and Trey was like, "I'm thinking about doing this," and I was like, "Dude, please, you'll thank yourself, later." It just I don't know. It's good to experience.
I really feel like one of the best things you can do, and I would recommend this for everyone. Is go on a long trip by yourself.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, go to a different city, go to a different culture, and it's fun when you do it with a group of friends.
Yeah.
But you're just doing the same thing you're doing in Virginia Beach, but in some other cool city.
Yeah.
Right.
When you do it by yourself, you really get to know yourself and, like, what you want, and, like...
Right.
You don't have to have like the approval of a group to go somewhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
regiment.
hey, I want to go to this music. Like I was in Austin for South by Southwest, like I said, and I was like, you know what I've never seen? The Alamo. So I rented a car in Austin and drove the 2.5 hours down to San Antonio.
That's awesome.
And walked around the Alamo. And I was like, you know what the crazy thing about the Alamo is?
What?
It fucking sucks.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like the size of this building.
Right.
And I'm like... all right, well, that was cool. And,
I guess I'll remember the Alamo.
Yeah, and I went to the Riverwalk, and I was like, that's getting late.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going back to Austin.
Right, yeah.
I did the same thing after the first year of the Shack because that took a lot out of me, right? So I did that.
Yeah.
I bought a one-way ticket out to Las Vegas, and I was like, I'm going to come back when I feel homesick.
Yeah.
And it all, and monetarily, it all worked out. And a lot of friends met me in Vegas, right? A lot of the Shack people, we all kind of went out and hung out. And after that week, I was like, okay, see ya.
Yeah.
I'm just hopped in the they're in the rental truck, headed out to Malibu. Took the girl that currently my girlfriend. We went to Malibu, hung out there, and then she flew back. And I just stayed in California from between LA, San Diego, and there was like one morning that I like woke up and I was like, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. I can either go back to this Airbnb or I've never been to Joshua Tree.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if I can beat the sun up over there. Did the math, and I could. And I was like, that's what I'm going to do. So I drove directly to Joshua Tree. It took me about 2 hours from LA.
Yep.
Got there right before the sun came up. Got in. The park was like closed. There weren't like any like rangers or anything like that. Got into the park as the sun was like rising. It was the most like spiritual moment that I've ever had in my life, being in that national park. And then I hung out there all day. I had a buddy of mine who gave me some California strength.
Yeah.
And I took my shoes off, no shit, found a fucking stick, and I decided to fucking walk. Yeah. And I just did. And because that was my issue, is that because we always get so wrapped up in like day-to-day life and everything that we're doing, especially business, and when you're like owning, operating businesses that are like very like high volume, and you have to deal with a lot of people's
bullshit.
Yeah, their shit,
Yeah.
You just don't really take time for yourself. And I decided to stay in LA until one day I was like, okay, because I had seen the people that I needed to see. I saw Parker when I was there.
Okay, yeah.
My buddy Paul. I saw. I believe Liz was still there too. I don't remember if I came and saw you guys. I saw
you did at some point. I don't know if it was the same trip.
No, Kristen. But there's a lot of little moments that I remember, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, that trip will stay with you forever.
Oh, it's totally there, and it didn't even end there. My buddy John, who was on not too long ago. John calls me, and I'm in between places to stay, in this fucking Nissan, right, in a like parking lot. And I'm just sitting there, just in California. I think I was like right outside of Riverdale, and he calls me. He's like, "Hey man, I see you're on this trip. He's like, you always told me if you're ever like doing this, that, and another, you'd come and see me." I'm like, John, give me a second. So I looked up the flights next day. All right, LAX to BWI, because I had my truck up there, or LAX to New York, and it was less to fly to New York from LAX, and I could just catch a train for the same amount of price. This is for the same price of me flying directly there.
Yeah.
And I was like, "See you, buddy. I'll be there soon." And then I went from fucking LA. I drove from Riverdale that morning, got on my flight to LAX, dropped the truck off at the airport.
No traffic.
No traffic at all. Oh my God. I was like dreading it. I was like, oh,
yeah.
Smooth. Called John. I'm like, I'll see you at 7 o'clock tonight. Land in JFK or LaGuardia, one of the two. Train straight into the city, and then continue that on. And then I was like, okay, now I'm definitely done. I need to go home.
Yeah.
And it was like Thanksgiving, came back into family, and it was just a really good moment for me. I needed to have that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Good for the soul.
Dude, I'm 100% with it.
Mine took 7 weeks.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was gone for almost 2 months.
So what's your do like the like you look at Indiana Jones where they go boop 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 place to place?
Okay.
You were telling us out there earlier,
So,
like you went from this place to that place to this place.
So my one way was, my original trip was it was, God, what month was it? It was like cold.
What year is it?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
I think it was like the first week of March. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was like late February, early March. And I booked a one-way trip to Nashville, Tennessee, because I had never been to Nashville.
Dude, the Airbnb story is the best.
Yeah.
Because our buddy in Nashville,
Yeah,
sorry
yeah.
to cut you off, has a couple Airbnbs in Nashville.
Like 12 on Broadway.
on Broadway.
On Broadway.
Like,
Wow.
I mean, like right where you want to be.
Yeah, Broadway. Yeah.
And he was
Trey's like, "Hey, can I get one?" And Sean's like, "You could tell it."
So this guy, we call him Con because he's a con artist. I hope he sees this. But he's like the best dude you'll ever meet in your life. And he was like, "All right, man, I talked to the wife. We could do it for $100 a night." And I'm like, $100 a night?
Yeah.
That's like super expensive. I can find something cheaper than that.
Yeah.
No. So I stayed like in the ghetto at like this. Like the first ever Comfort Inn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was like
sheets haven't
it
been
was like
changed in 9
$79
years.
a night, and it was like the biggest shithole.
Yeah.
like smoking room.
Comes with bed bug
So,
spray.
I slept. This is not exaggeration. I slept on top of the comforter, and it came out after taxes to like $93 a night. And it was my Uber. I had it set on Uber Black on accident, and so my Uber in and out to Broadway was like $40 each way
from the hotel.
Yeah, so I'm like super lost, and I didn't have a place to stay when I first landed, so I just went one way.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to go on this adventure, and it was freezing cold, and I was like, I'm going to turn around. I had left Norfolk like 3.5 hours earlier, and I was already completely over the trip. I was like, I'm done. I'm over it.
Well, the best part is, so Trey, like you get there, to the Motel 6 or whatever, right by the airport. Takes the $40 Uber to Broadway. I don't know if you met Sean, but like one of our friends to Broadway, right? And like they're at this bar, and the Airbnb, like our buddy was offering Trey, was like right above the bar,
Right above the bar.
for $100. Now Trey has spent $99 on the Motel 6 and $40 one way on an Uber and $40 back to the hotel.
Yeah.
And
Lesson learned.
And the Airbnb was beautiful. He took me up there and showed it to me just to spite me. And I was like, I was like, can I get it now? And he was like, nah. He's like, I'll buy you a beer though. So then
I'll buy you a beer.
After there, I wanted to go to South by. Like I'd always heard about South by Southwest, and I've always heard, how cool of a city Austin is. So I did Austin for 5 days. I was in Nashville for 4.
Airbnb?
Yeah. And then Austin, I was like, I was there for 5 days by myself, and I kind of got over it. Like it was like 9 days alone, and I was like, I need to go somewhere where I know people. So my buddy was in Scottsdale for spring training. He was like a 12-year Major League Baseball player, and he was like, dude, the Giants have this hotel, and come stay with me for free. And we have friends in Scottsdale because Pat lived there. And so I went there and had a blast. And then I did Scottsdale to Vegas, Vegas to Los Angeles, Los Angeles to San Fran, San Fran to New Orleans, New Orleans to like this weird beach, Destin, Florida, where I like sat on the beach and like thought about life and stuff.
Right.
And I was like, I fell in love with Los Angeles while I was there. Yeah. And I kind of laid on this beach for like 2 or 3 days in Florida. And was like, I can't go back to what I know in Virginia Beach.
Right.
Like, it changed me.
Right. Yeah.
So it was my friend Bryce's birthday party, and it was the Masters, which is a huge deal to us because we were big golfers.
Yeah.
And I drove Florida like the 14, 15 hours. I get home, I was like, Pat, like he said that when I walked through the door, it was like a different person.
Right.
And I went back, and then I offered my shares, of a venue to Ryan Bishop, who's like the greatest dude in the world.
Oh, yeah, super nice.
Yeah,
man.
super nice
Holy
guy.
shit,
And he's like a hardworking kid, and he's good. And I wanted to kind of afford him the same opportunities that I had.
Right, for sure.
To be a bar owner before 30, and like, and so I cut him a huge price break, and just kind of wanted to get out. Then drove back, sold venue, and hung out in Virginia Beach for like 2 months.
Yeah.
Just not working, and then packed all my stuff in my Tahoe and 2,800 miles west, and I've been there. It'll be a year, at the end of this month.
Nice.
Which is like, it seems like an eternity ago.
Right, yeah.
But back
Different
to the
life.
back to the flux time capacity.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, for me, I was about to say, I feel like you just left, bro.
Exactly.
I was like, what did you leave like 2 months ago? or
Right,
something like that?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's nuts,
That's
man.
nuts.
Yeah. Time flies.
And we lived together so long that I was telling him I had to go to court the other day anyhow for something. Anyhow, I'm not
Murder rap. It's
not
cool.
guilty. Murder one.
Allegedly.
Self-defense.
Murder was a case that they gave me.
You feel me? But no, so I was looking through my court papers, and I found my lease to the apartment I live in right now, and it was like it was July 1st yesterday that I looked at it, and I was like, I moved in a year ago. And
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that.
Right.
I was like, damn, Trey's been gone that long. Fuck.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
and to me, it feels like I've been gone a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,